Hey, good morning. Happy Sunday. Happy Veterans Day. So, oh, I almost cut my finger. So you can call me crazy, but this is what I do. Woke up this morning, I had to teach my class, and I had an order of products that was shipped to my son's house by mistake. So I'm going to go up to Lansing, and my husband and I, we're going to go to the outlets and go up to his house, pick it up. And so anyway, we'll be gone most of the day. And this is where I'm trying to encourage you guys to think ahead. I mean, this was unplanned, so I didn't have a big meal plan. I had ground turkey sitting out since Friday. I was going to do something with it and never got around to it. So I thought, you know what, today's a perfect day. I'm going to make some turkey chili. Sorry, it's not turkey chili, it's turkey sloppy joes. I love them. You can make them into sandwiches. I actually make a turkey sloppy joe bowl, and I put it on rice. So I'm going to do this and then put it on the crock pot, so that all my husband and I have to do when we get home later on is eat it. And I also know that my son will eat it, so I'm taking it up for him. So I'm going to bore you with how to do this. I'm cutting up one onion, and I know you guys, you can't see because of the light and all that jazz, but that is an onion here. Let's see if I take my herbs out and knocking it up. I don't think that helped at all. Anyway, so the recipe calls, and I will post it. This is actually a recipe that was in an all-in challenge cookbook that I received a couple of years ago. It's a downloadable cookbook. I have some favorites in there. Absolutely love them. So it's calling for 1 chopped onion. So that's what I'm doing, is chopping up an onion. I'm going to add this to the pan over here and saute it along with some garlic until they become soft, right? So you guys, if you have ground turkey or any of these ingredients, this is something you can do today and have for tomorrow. I will tell you, my children love this. I have served this at swim banquets, and kids have asked, or parents have asked for the recipe. It's a healthier version of a sloppy joe. You don't have all the crap from a sloppy joe package, or maybe the added sugars. It does have barbecue sauce, a half a cup, and I am not one that went and found some fancy barbecue sauce. I got what was on sale, and it's a half a cup. So here's a chopped onion. I'm going to add to this pan over here. So I have olive oil going into this pan. I have garlic. Recipe calls for 1 small onion, so I had a large onion, so I took half of that. So 1 small onion, 2 cloves of garlic. This is my garlic. I'm gonna plop it over here in the pan. 2 cloves. I'm gonna add in the onion. And the other thing, the recipe does not call for this, but I want to get rid of them. I have some celery sticks here, and they're cut really thin, or sliced really thin because they were for vegetable dipping for a veggie plate. So I'm just cutting them up really, 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 really teeny. Itty bitty teeny pieces. And I want you to know that I go live like this, not because I'm bored or I love going live. I am definitely more comfortable being in front of the camera, but I do this so that I can show you that it's not difficult. It's certainly more work than going through Burger King or McDonald's. But if I do it from start to finish and you guys see how easy this is, I mean, You know, what's a half hour in the kitchen for healthy meals, and maybe this will last you the week. So I sliced up. Yeah. That's it for the dicing. Bring it over here. I'm going to turn the camera around real quick. So I'm going to show you, this is the recipe. It's called Sloppy Joe Turkey Bowls. And again, I added celery in there just to get rid of it. Calories, you're looking at 150 per serving. Right? Total fat, 3.6 grams. Carbohydrates, 2.8. You know, sugar is protein, 21 grams of protein. Not too bad, right? So here we go. Back at the stove. So I have my onions and celery in here cooking. Recipe calls for 1 pound of ground turkey. I usually get my ground turkey from a meat market, but I was at Costco the other day, so I got ground turkey, 93% lean, 7% fat. Says it's never given any antibiotics, but who knows? Honestly, I don't know what to believe with that little. Don't know what to believe anymore with any of that. So anyway, you can see they're just starting to get soft, a little bit translucent. Now I'm going to add, and of course I'm not following necessarily the recipe step by step. I do it my own way. So if I'm doing it backwards than what the recipe says when I post it, you can follow the recipe. I just don't follow recipes, guys. Now I've switched over to this wonderful thing. Looks like a windmill. This is a fantastic little tool to, when you're doing any type of ground meat, ground turkey, and you want the fine little pieces, this really helps do that. Doesn't look like it right now because it's thickened, but it does. You know, when you go to maybe restaurants or someplace else and they have real fine ground turkey or ground beef and it's little teeny beautiful pieces, and mine always would be clumpy and I couldn't figure out why. I was probably too impatient to sit around and do this. Kind of nerve-wracking, huh? Alright, so I'm going to let it sit and cook for a little bit, and then I'll come back to beating it up in the meantime. Calling for a half a cup of barbecue sauce, and again, you can get sugar-free, you can get anything. Honestly, I would prefer if you got a healthier version than what I have here, but this is what I have. So it's calling for a half a cup, and I think that's probably about all I have. All right. Honestly, this has like a little spice or a kick to it because there is cayenne pepper in there, just a splash of it. So it has a little bit of heat. I tell you what, it's really, really good. My nieces have had it, my nephews have had it. I've taken it to swim meets. Like I said, I've made huge batches of it and taken it to swim meets. And it's good. Alright. This This is almost done. Don't know if you can see, but see how that's all little teeny pieces here? So, trick for the day. If you haven't ever seen one of these little gadgets, gadgets are fun. I used to always think they were gadgety and not necessary. But they can make your life really easy if you're in the kitchen. Alright, so I'm going to turn this down a little bit because it's heating me up. That's about all she wrote on that. Alright, so I'll bring the recipe over here. Worcestershire sauce, so a teaspoon. Alright, so I'm going to start adding some of this. I'm going to add a little bit more. I have 2 different brands here of a sauce. So I have barbecue sauce, half a cup, and it calls for 1 pound. This was just under 1.5 pounds of my turkey meat. Stir that in there. Get rid of this tool, no longer need it. I'm going to get a spatula to get every little bit out of this measuring cup. Beautiful. Alright, so it calls for a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. So, and we'll measure that. That was a teaspoon. Tomato paste. Tomato paste. And so the tomato paste, again, I get it in the tubes. 3 teaspoons. I'll be a little bit more accurate today. Usually I don't use measuring spoons. I'm out of everything. Gotta get some of that. Alright. So, what do we have next? Tomato paste. Alright, chili powder. Oops. Chili powder. Chili powder. Recipe calls for 1 teaspoon. Again, this is my measuring spoon. I do about 1/4 size. Chili powder. This is the heat, baby. This is the heat. Heat, heat, heat. This is cayenne pepper. Woo. Calls for a teaspoon. I'm going to do probably a little bit less than a teaspoon because it gets spicy. Okay, ground pepper to taste. Just going to add some in here. Salt. I'm just going to add again. I always use kosher. Just a couple pinches. And red pepper flakes. It says to taste. So I'm going to, I don't know if you can see the little dollop in my hand there. It's not much. Enough to give my husband heartburn. My son will love it. Husband might not so much. No, he likes it, but we are definitely the spicier, me, my sons, than my husband. All right. What's next? It says reduce heat. Simmer for 15 minutes. Okay. So I'm going to turn the camera around, try to show you a little bit here, but I'll turn the camera around and show you. So that was it. So the length of this video was the time it took me to make Sloppy Joes. So it's all in here. I'm going to turn it down to simmer for about 15 minutes, and I'd be ready to eat, right? I'm going to pack up some of this and take to my son. I'm going to have 2 servings in here, 2 or 3 left over. I'll probably take 2 servings to my son and have 2 servings here for me and my husband. And the 2 servings that I have here for my husband and I'm going to make some brown rice, and we're going to serve this in a bowl on some brown rice. And that is it. For my son, he might do wraps, he might do brown rice, and then you want a veggie, right, with it. The brown rice part of it is optional, so if you're eating this in the evening, and we always say that the complex carbohydrate in the evening is optional. If you're looking to trim fat, then you might not want to have it on brown rice. You can serve it over lettuce, you can make lettuce wraps over it, but it's really, 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 really tasty. Anyway, turn the camera around. Alright, so that's what it looks like. Turkey Sloppy Joes. Made right here in front of your eyes. So that's it. Call me crazy, but that was pretty simple. And when we overthink things, we make it much more difficult, and it gets much more overwhelming, and it messes with our head. Don't let it. This is a great recipe. I say give it a try. Put it in the crock pot. You can have it later on today or later on this week, but give it a try. I'll post the recipe. Bye.